Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Genesis. We spent a decent amount of time last time wandering through, where is it, the Distressed Call chapter. We got it down to a point where I think we're at a good little spot. We did a little bit of messing around in the end, and if I do feel like it, I can probably go back and do the rest of this kind of stuff. Again, top tier gear, it's available. You just have to spend a little bit of time screwing around in the end looking for pieces that you can use to upgrade things. Basically, what you need to do is you need to find all of the Imperium stuff that is scattered around all over the end so that you can then upgrade all of that stuff into Awakened, or, I should say all the way down to, what is it, Supremium, and then Awakened, and then all that kind of fun stuff. I am not concerned about it. We don't need that. It's kind of what I would call an end tier thing that if I had access to it a lot earlier in game, I would have started to go after it. As it is, we have reasonably rechargeable gear. We have reasonably rechargeable stuff. I've got a sword that kills everything in 1 or 2 hits. So, what's the big point? Really, it's kind of that. Why? But I'm not going to worry about it. We'll have some fun. I have been busy. I should say very, well, not necessarily very busy, just busy enough to be I guess being productive to get some things going. Yes, productive. productive, productive. Yes, we've been fiddling with the bees, at least, so that I could get to a point where I could start talking to you guys about this chapter. I should have probably sat down and done a little bit of this early on, but I decided basically to wait on it and not worry about it until, it was time to kind of fiddle with it. So I did spend some time in between episodes working through some of the stuff that we hadn't already done. So we'll talk about it. I'll show you the little area. I did decide to pull them out of their little room and bring them into the farming dimension because it made sense that this has kind of just been the area that I've been using. So I took over that whole section back there since we don't need the redstone. We don't need anything that comes out of there that needs to be run in the dark anymore. I tore it all out and made a nice little bee area to play with. And I mean little. We're not even really going to do the majority of the hard stuff that goes with bees, but I did kind of, like I said, just get some things going. So I'm still kind of working a little bit on these guys, just the basic regular old vanilla bees. I'm keeping them around just for the productivity of the fact that you can get the honeycomb and honey bottles out of them. They're just never going to leave here as the way these all go. We have the upgrades for the simulators going on. These are incredibly cheap for us to make now because we have lots of Fluix crystals. I kind of wanted to wait again until we had a decent amount of certain things going. So that's a kind of a really quick, cheap, easy way to make these work. And of course, that it means that you can move this around and do whatever you want to do and just kind of not have to worry about them leaving. Like I could have this in main base if I cared. They never leave out of here and they'll never die. We also have several of the upgrade speeds in some of these. These are just, very simple stuff to make. I gutted that dimension for all of the honeycomb blocks and all of the honey. Everything that seemed to be usable to us, I pulled out of it and then have not been back since. It's kind of one of those little deals. So we have a very simple little thing going on here. And I'm utilizing the dye bees right now because those were the first ones that we got that were available to us to be able to do interesting things. They gave us dye bees. I said, okay, fine. I'm just going to breed a few dye bees up, get them going. They're not amazing. They're doing what we need them to do. Basically, I wanted the productivity high and the endurance as high as I could get on them just so that we could make sure we were getting all of the stuff. And I have a couple of upgrade pokey gene simulator things in here just to try to get a little bit of gene samples. That all being said, I have been kind of utilizing the other technology or the other thing to try to get some more of the gene samples going. So I again gutted most of the nests out of that area. And well, I've been using these nests to kind of gather up the stuff that we can normally get using what they want you to do. So let's talk about the rest of this deal. So first thing they're going to tell us to do is make a bottler. We made a bottler a long time ago because I needed it to be able to automatically craft water bottles. And in here, what they're interested in is we want to take a bee from a beehive in a cage over to the bottler. Again, place bottles in it and a piston 1 block above the bottler and let the bee loose inside and then smash it down with a piston. Yeah, essentially that's what we do. So let me grab a little bit of how I've been doing this. And I'll show you. If I take a bunch of honey treats and I pick, say, we'll pick the bumblebee nest, I guess. That's fine. And then you do this. and you get it all the way down to where it's within a reasonable amount of time. So we'll even take it all the way down. The number in the wall there is seconds. So we'll do, can I get it to 10? That was a lot of honey. I've, like I said, again, gutting the system helped us get that quick. So we'll wait for him to come back up. We should be able to do it, and then it should go bang. Now we get a bumblebee. You take a bumblebee and you read his stats. Read his stats. It says solitary, type, product, all of those interesting things. That's all we care about right there. And you walk this over here. You put this in here. You close the door. You smush him. It gives you a squash bee material. You take squash bee material. You put squash bee material in powered centrifuge. And it'll give you interesting stuff. So I've accumulated a few things over there because of this. We'll see what we get this time around. Cool, okay? So that's going to give us the actual productivity B, so like the actual gene sample for what this thing can be. The temper, which is normal, endurance is medium, productivity is medium, weather tolerance none, and behavioral diurnal, meaning daily. There's several different behaviors. We're going to be able to get a little bit into that better. So I kind of just did that and used up a bunch of honey and stuff like that we got out of that other dimension, and just kind of worked through some of those a little bit. I haven't been keeping anything else past the dye bees and the regular bees because, well, right now that's all we really have access to. I mean, there are other ways, and we'll talk about it in a second. Once you get a set of bees up to where you want them, like so these high productivity guys here or whatever, they will slowly over time, as long as we have these little these upgrades in here as far as slowly extracting things, give you some of their information without hurting them too terribly badly. And I guess I need to dump this one again. Actually, I want to trade that flower out. I forgot. I had them I just kind of rearranged this before I started recording because that flower and the dye that will come with that flower is actually very usable to us compared to this stuff. So we'll put the honeycombs, we'll put a bunch of this other things away. Hello, phone. Anyhow, so now we can look at all of these gene samples. The first thing I've been doing pretty much is I don't care about most of this stuff. And I know I can use them for other things. I don't need the dye bee stuff. I don't need the bumblebee stuff. I don't really care about what we're going to do because I already have those recovered. I know I can use them for other things. It's fine. Then we're going to care about the numbers along the sides of things. So say I actually cared to keep this gene sample normal or that temper normal. We're actually keeping those. In order to be able to make that a usable gene sample, I mean one that we're going to get 100% chance on, you have to accumulate or combine those together over a period of time until you see 100%. So we'll get most of these. So like these diurnals right here. I have a 91 in here. Let's just grab this 91 and we'll place it. And, well, I guess we'll just get rid of those two. It'll take it up to 93. And then we'll put that in as 35 so that it's 100% diurnal. Does that mean anything to us? No. Really, you don't want that one. You want the one that allows them to work day and night, no matter what, to where they never stop working, period. But I've gone through, again, like I said, and worked through some of the stuff so that we should be able to actually complete a couple of quests. So let me gather all of those up and we'll look at some of these things. So by squishing thing, you get a bunch of squish bee material and we get a little bit of things. Be careful with this squish bee material. Do not, and I mean do not, stick a stack of stuff in here if you're not going to be automatically removing things out of this area, as the material won't stack and you'll lose things. There are a few things about productive bees that you have to pay attention to when you're playing with things. Ooh, that was interesting. I guess I could have probably done this a while ago, but if you go ahead and put another one in here, you'll end up with a problem that may or may not cause you to lose some of this stuff. This will only be able to work like 6 or 7 at a time, so you have to be careful and pull the parts out before placing another one of these in here, or you may lose some things. Yes, I found that out the hard way. I'm not worried about these. We're going to put a bunch of them away. I really probably should have waited a little bit of time to do those, but I've already spent a little bit of time doing some stuff. So move on down the line to your quest. Powered centrifuge. Of course, powered centrifuge is the way you're going to be able to clean up these particular gene samples or the squash bee material. So yeah, those are all inferium. I could have done this the easy way. Well, whatever, doesn't matter. Click on the button, give me an upgrade speed, and give me an upgrade, baby upgrade. This is a usable thing that you can use to try to force the like in here, I have these up here. You can stick a couple of these or like one or two of these in here and place them in one of these other hives with these upgrades in here. So a resource on those, again, not expensive to craft, just flowers and some stuff. And there will be at this point, I guess, a 10% chance that when a bee leaves the hive and comes back in, that a new baby will be born. It's an incredibly slow, low chance. It's actually quicker and easier over the amount of time it takes, given the fact that bees take, what is it, the same thing as everything else, like 20 minutes per time. The amount of time it takes for these things to functionally work, you can just breed 2 bees together in 20 minutes and you'll be more productive by yourself. Again, this is one of those hands-on projects where if you just take the time as a person doing it, you can be faster than the upgrades can. So that's just a fun thing to kind of note there. Click some more buttons. We have engineering or obtain a gene sample. Of course, they were just any kind of sample. They're going to give us a behavioral diurnal for that. Again, to increase the speed at which your bees can go quicker, you can incubate bees in an incubator, which is not expensive, again, to craft. When you breed said bees, like that's why I have several. I think I've got, what, at least 1 or 2 over here, right? I have 4, excuse me. Once you get a bunch of bees going, these things, totally worth your time to try to get working and going. So just make them and go on along with the deal. Anyhow, stories, incubator, give me the eggs. I don't really care. Engineering perfection. Now that's one of the things I want to talk about when we get to that point. I should be sleeping. I'm sorry, guys, because they're all daytime bees. Their productivity only happens during the day, which is why I have a clock in my inventory to kind of play around with things. Anyhow, quests, engineering perfection. This is an important thing to understand, that once you get to this point, or when you're trying to build specific bees to help your process along the way. I should have done this a long time ago. I didn't. Again, we've been busy playing around with some other stuff. What this means in here is you can use, and I will do it just like this, use metallurgic infuser. You can use this to create very usable bees for your process should you want to play around with them. So you've got all kinds of things: compressed iron bees, lapis bees, plastic bees, emerald bees, sponge bees, earth crystal bees, mana bees, all the kinds of things. Drenched aluminum bees, which is really nice too for that part little deal. Just all kinds of good usable bees for you to be able to kind of move on down the road should you want to. I mean, you can even do those kinds of bees. We've kind of gone a different direction as far as automating various productions of certain things, namely by using the using the other seeds, mystical agriculture, a large miner that is going to just do whatever it needs to do plus the process, and hostile neural networks, which is the way you're going to get a bunch of the stuff that they're talking about in that system. So again, if you want to go to bees, do a little bit of work, play around. Once you get there, you can have some fun things. So we'll do this, we'll do that, and we'll do this. That's what they can say in here. This is basically how you can make it work, and that's just the interesting thing about it, and that will allow you to produce stuff using this. The problem that I have with bees, even when you get bees sorted out reasonably well, it is a slow process of producing things until you get certain things. That's just why I've grabbed all these and put them in here. One of the first things you want to go after hard is the productivity high. And I got lucky when I was breeding some of these guys in here that they started giving me productivity highs, which is nice because that means they're going to, I forget what the actual number is, double or triple or quadruple, whatever it is, the number of the things that they're going to be able to produce in the same amount of time. So that's a way of making sure you get a lot of whatever the resource is you want. That's one of the first things you want to go after. There's a higher tier than this, and it's one of those things you can breed into various things. Also, endurance. You want endurance. If you're going to let them to be outside and wander around a little bit, you want them to have a lot of endurance, which means they can get back and forth between wherever their hive is and the flower that you or the block that you want them to look at. It's one of those kinds of deals. Now, weather tolerance, it doesn't rain here as far as I know, so this doesn't matter to us. It's kind of one of those that doesn't really matter. Temper, you want to try to get this as low as possible, meaning docile or whatever it is. Normal doesn't really matter. And again, the next big one you care about is diurnal, or how their behavior works through day and or night. And there are ways of making this happen. I'm not going to go through it, but all I can say is read the book. Just read the book, understand all of the little things that you can do for bees and stuff, just to make things a little bit easier on yourself, especially when it comes to the genetic section, because again, this can get really silly very quickly. Anyhow, let us move on. We have a bunch of things that they want us to do. Temper, first off, they want me to hand in any normal or aggressive gene, and this will get us a passive, which is for whatever it is. Very cool. Submit and thank you. This is a very interesting little process here, which I'm glad they gave us to do. If you want to copy any 100% thing, you add a UU matter to it, and they tell us that in the process when you're doing these things. So now I have a passive gene, which I can now start building a gene pack for the bees that we get to play with. Next step, work cycle, diurnal, nocturnal, or diurnal, either diurnal, whatever it is. Submit, go, submit, thank you. Again, same process. Should I? This is the one you want. This means they work day and night and don't care. So you can stop sleeping through the night. Your productivity doubles when you start building bees with this, because you don't have to worry about sleeping through the day. Onwards, next one, increase productivity. They want any of these. I should be able to submit one because we have productivity already as high as it goes. So then they're going to give me a medium productivity and a nice little productivity deal. Since we're already here, you want 2 of these. Submit, go ahead, do that deal, because I've already copied all of those down. And again, you give me all the way down to here. Beautiful. I'll take your productivity. I'm assuming that was going to be giving us productivity high. This is one that, again, you want that so that from now on, everything you have will do twice, or, very, very, very much lots and lots and lots of work. I know it's kind of a bad way of saying it, but very, very much lots and lots of work. So we're at a pretty good spot right now where we can start to build some pretty decent bees, should we care. Weather tolerance, again, it doesn't rain here. So one of the things that you will get you is if it rains, bees will stop working, just like villagers. They'll go inside. They'll quit working. And that's not a great thing to have to happen when you're playing with bees. You want them to not care, especially if they're going to be indoors. It's one of those things I never really understood. If you build a building, or if you have them indoors, or if you have them in these particular things with this particular upgrade, they shouldn't care that it's raining, but they stop producing if it is. So it's interesting. Weather tolerance anyway, I do want to make sure I make a copy of that so that we have all of those. This can get, again, don't care. And the final little step here, endurance, any endurance, period, submit, thank you. That'll be a medium endurance, straight down to the next one, thank you. And away we go. That's strong endurance. And again, endurance is just controls how hardy they are by, extracting all the fun things. They're just stronger, they're better, they'll live longer, they're capable of dealing with things, and they'll be easier and quicker and funner, whatever you want to do to use it. So finally, all of those, a gene sequence, endurance, strong, meta, diurnal, passive, very high, any. They want us to craft the thing. This is a thing that you need to pay attention to here, in that this has to be lined up in a specific fashion to look like this. We need to make sure we place all of the things that we just got in a line like that. So let me make sure I double up on the one that I care about, which was going to be strong and sure. And then we take a honey treat, and I think, let me see if I can remember how this all goes. I'm going to give this a whirl. I think I have it right. I'm going off of what the list says here. So underneath it says honey treat, endurance, behavior, temper, productivity, weather tolerance. So strong, meta, passive, very high, any. The reason why I'm saying this is because there's a pink thing in there. And that pink thing is not supposed to be pink. It should be yellow. Because this is a gene sample behavior, which a gene sample behavior is going to be something like inferium or this. In theory, in order to get that list, I should see strong, meta, passive, very high, any. Make it. Okay. So yeah, there's a typo right there. Pay attention. All right. And again, we'll make copies of all of our goodness so that we don't lose our copies of all of our goodness that they were kind enough to give us. And away we go. Okay, cool. You can go in here. You can go in here. I will probably process through some of these other things just a little bit. I'm not really concerned about it. That should give me 16 of those. Thank you. Beautiful. Which I do believe we can then apply to a B, which will allow us to go through the thorough, diligent research, genetic modification of all this fun stuff. We will now be able to, when you are ready, press the button and we will download the new genetic instruction to your body. The natural occurring radiation in the world will no longer affect you. Thank you. Now, for what that was all worth, like I said, we should have probably been fiddling with these guys a long time ago. That took me about an hour and a half of just screwing around, maybe 2 hours, just messing around with those. And then once I got to these bees right here, I was just every 20 minutes pulling them out, breeding them, putting the babies in the incubators, and then stuffing the rest of them in here. So the thing is, you don't necessarily have to wait every 20 minutes. It's just that it takes a little bit of time. So like when you upgrade a bee, when you take a bee and you breed the bees and you wait for the bee to grow up, the bee will reset its breeding timer, which means it takes like 2 or 3 minutes in here of them, or however long it takes for them to do whatever the upgrade is that it needs to happen in here. And I guess I need to put these in here for now. Nope, those go in here. I will fiddle with these off camera. I'm not even, again, this is as far as I want to go with bees because we don't need them. But if you want to go through that quickly, once you get some of the stuff that's usable over there and you get some of the stuff that's usable over here, and you keep these guys pumping with as much of the honeycombs and the honey as you possibly can to keep your honey treats up and everything going like this, you can cycle through those fairly quickly. Again, all this quest line wants is that you get a full temper, a full work cycle, a full productivity, a full weather tolerance, and a full endurance, and then copy them. It doesn't care. See, when they hand you this here, right, they're going to give us a medium. So then you take your UU matter and you make copies of the medium, then immediately hand that in. Same thing here. They're going to give you a copy of the medium. Here, the medium is what they want. Send it in, away you go. Send it in, away you go. This is fairly quick. It's just getting to this initial point right here where you have several 100% available to be turned in things. That's all the time it took. That's legitimately. Once you get a point where the problem is you can't do these with the regular Minecraft bees. You can do it with the dye bees that they give you. You can do it with some of the other bees that we got as far as things go. But at least you're done on that end of it. And here comes the fun part. Give me one of these. Thank you. I was thinking about making one of these, and then I realized that, interesting things happen. What that should do is, that should have given us not only a backpack, but also a crafting table. I guess it's just magical backpack. I don't need another backpack. I'm good. I've got it. We're ready to go. By now, you really wouldn't have cared. That backpack, however, will not die with you when you die. It stays with you as long as you need to worry about it. So we've now completed that portion of the quest book. We are now capable of opening, hopefully, Terrigenesis. So if we look in here, we're going to see what's going on. I'm going to start this next time. We may or may not run through the rest of this stuff and see how it goes, but we will definitely be looking at the end of this pack fairly soon, guys. So I will see you all later. Thank you so much for watching.